welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to discuss Orange Theory with you all. I briefly touched on it on my weight loss video, but I see a lot of people now are starting to find out about Orange Theory, so I think it's a great time now to discuss it. And so what I'll do is I'll tell you what I like about it, I'll tell you what I dislike about it, and then at the end, which I'm sure you can probably figure out in the beginning of this video, whether or not I recommend it. Okay, so briefly, if you don't know what Orange Theory is, it is a instructor-led group class. I'll give you an example of what a standard class would look like. There are two places where you can start. You can start on the treadmill, or you can start on the floor, which would include the rowers or the weight room. So you do cardio for 30 minutes, then you move to the weight room and do strength and weight training, and then you switch. So you can pick where you want to start off. You can start with strength training, so that's the rowers or the weights, or you can start on the tread. So pretty much people, I didn't purchase this, but you can, and I think it's a good investment. You can purchase a watch. It tracks your heart rate, and by the way, the watch of course is given to you by Orange Theory. Well, not given to you, you pay for it. It tracks your heart rate, and then from there it tells you how many calories you've lost. There's something called splat points, so you can determine whether or not you'll be burning calories for the next 36 hours, I think it is. It doesn't tell you how many you're going to be burning, but if you get above, I think, 12 splat points, you'll continue to burn for the next couple of days. So that's great. So the idea is not only are you burning calories while you're in the class, but long story short, you'll continue to burn calories after. The whole thing is, when they're tracking your heart rate, there's different zones. So there's the green zone, the orange zone, which is the zone you want to be in, the red zone, I think there's a gray zone, like when you're resting. So pretty much the orange zone is the ideal zone. So you want to stay there for much of your workout, for most of your workout. All right, so things I like. There are tons of things that I like about Orange Theory. Why does my camera look blurry when I move? I'm using my laptop, I'm not using my phone today. Anyway, things that I love, it's instructor-led. I don't know about you guys, but usually when I go to the gym, I don't know what I'm doing. So I think for a lot of us, it's important to have some clear direction. The music is loud as well, so you don't have to bring your own phone or headphones or whatever. The music is loud, it gets you going, it gets you pumped, motivated. You can pick what trainer you would like, and after you've gone a couple times, you kind of get the gist for what trainer plays what. So you can pick the trainer that plays more hip-hop, you can pick the trainer that plays more house, so on and so forth. So that's great. Also, having a trainer there pushes you a little bit more than when you're on your own, because if you're not running when you're supposed to be running, or if you're not lifting heavy enough, they're going to come over to you and say, hey, maybe you can lift a little bit heavier, or hey, maybe you can go a little bit faster. So having a trainer, I think, is great. It's kind of like smaller classrooms, if you will. I don't want to say it's like a personal training situation, but the benefits that come with smaller classrooms, it's kind of the same thing. It's a smaller group. I think when the class is full, I think there's about 30 people in the class, but you kind of feel like you're getting one-on-one training. Well, it's a little closer to that than when you're at the gym fumbling around. All right, so it's only 1 hour. That's another thing that I like. You don't have to be in there. Well, sometimes I'd be in the gym for an hour and a half to 2 hours doing God knows what. This is an hour long, in, out. I mean, most of us can easily spend hours on the couch watching a show. So 1 hour, it's no time. And you know that you've burned a significant amount of calories. Well, most people. Flexible, they have an extremely flexible schedule, which is great. I think the first class starts at maybe 5:30 or 6:30, and then the last class on the weekdays are usually 7:30. So 7:30 is usually the last class. And then they have classes on the weekend. Of course, the classes on the weekend end a little earlier than they would during the week. So usually by mid-afternoon, that's probably the last class. I think Sunday, let me not lie. Today I went to a class, and it was the last class. Today's Sunday, and the class started at 11:30, and it was the last class. So that's how my Orange Theory works. You know, now that I'm talking through, other Orange Theories may actually operate a little bit differently. But I'm assuming you have longer weeks, longer, more flexible, longer schedule during the week, and then a shorter schedule on the weekends. So the other thing that I would say I like, which is kind of funny, a lot of people would find Orange Theory to be expensive, especially if you have the unlimited plan. If you're in the US, I think it ranges, I think it's about $160 or $169. But one thing I like is there's no hidden fees. When I started, I don't recall having to pay like 2 months in advance. Sometimes gyms do that, and it could just be such a huge inconvenience if they're asking for a good amount of money up front. So they do have different plans. They have a plan where you can go, I think, once a week. They have another plan where it works out to like 8 classes a month, and then they have the unlimited. So you don't have to do the unlimited plan, which is the most expensive plan. There are other plans for you to choose from. So I think the price is okay for what's being offered, and I like the fact that there are no hidden fees that I've discovered so far. And I've been doing Orange Theory, by the way. I guess I should have said this from the beginning. I've been doing Orange Theory for about 5 months. Could be 6 months because time flies. Okay. Also, another pro about Orange Theory, which kind of ties into the group thing. Well, it does. The competition. Working out with other people, you know, it creates a sense of healthy competition. You're going to want to, well, at least for me, I'm going to want to keep up or run faster than the person beside me. If I have a person beside me that's beasting it, it pushes me to go a little bit harder. So when you're working out on your own, usually you're your own motivator. And for a lot of people, that's not good enough. So I think that just the whole group setting creates a dynamic that many of us, you know, don't have when we're going to LA Fitness or 24 Hour or whatever. So I do enjoy that about Orange Theory. All right, so what do I dislike? What are the cons? There aren't many, but there are a few. I think Orange Theory has a little bit too much cardio. And let me be a little clear. Some days we are running at an all-out pace for a minute. And we're doing that several times. All out means like you're running your fastest. So I feel like sometimes they could probably do better by cutting away with that, you know? Okay, so I honestly feel that Orange Theory has a little bit too much cardio. We're running for 30 minutes minimum. And some classes are a little bit harder than others. Some classes expect you to run at a faster pace for longer periods of time than other classes, but overall I think that Orange Theory is a little too cardio intensive. If you have messed up knees, Orange Theory sometimes will only exacerbate that. So keep that in mind. When I first started out, I had pretty bad knees. They've gotten better. I don't know if I've just like strengthened them up or whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but I was always icing my knees when I finished with Orange Theory. And it was partly or mainly because of all of the running that you do in Orange Theory. So I think they could probably cut back. I also find that sometimes we run at an all-out pace for too long, too often, and I think over time that will do a lot of wear and tear on your body. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. I just think that Orange Theory may have a little bit too much cardio. So if you are looking to shed the pounds, Orange Theory is for you, okay? Forget about sculpting. If you just want to like lose a good amount of weight relatively quickly, Orange Theory is for you because of all of the cardio. What else? I discussed cardio, I discussed the injury thing. I would say they could probably benefit from giving people a little bit more direction, especially when they first start out. So the first day I started, like it was nice. I had the instructor come over, she showed me what to do, but there were a couple things that I remember like in later classes when I didn't have an instructor beside me, like I didn't know what I was doing. Oh, here's one, the numbers. So you take a number, and I think actually no, before when I started, I don't think they were giving out the cards at the time. I think that you just jumped on your treadmill, and then of course you're supposed to go to the corresponding station in the weight room. And I didn't know that. So let's say I jumped on number 7, the treadmill number 7. Like, I would just go to any available spot in the weight room because I didn't know the things were numbered. So now they give out cards at my gym. So when you first go in, you can tell them where you want to start. They'll give you a card, and it's a little less confusing. But I would have liked for someone to say, hey, there's a number system here. Where you start is where you end. So, and I've had to help people with that as well. Also, some of the workouts, sometimes I know classes can get a little bit busy, but I've had newbies ask me how to like do a particular exercise, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a trainer. So I would say more training would be beneficial. Well, not more training. I mean, like, just being a little bit more hands-on to newbies would be beneficial. But for the most part, I think that the trainers are pretty good where that's concerned. And the biggest dislike is, for me, Orange Theory has flattened my butt. I don't know if it's because they don't focus on glute exercises enough, but I've been doing my research and other people have been complaining about the same thing. I find that Orange Theory will flatten your butt. If you're not lifting heavy while you're doing your squats or doing lunges on your own, all that cardio for me is not great. Like, I lose weight everywhere, and that includes the glutes, and I'm not a fan of that. So what I find now is, like, I have to come home and do my own stuff. I'm thinking about decreasing my my time at Orange Theory and then trying to work in maybe like a boot camp or a CrossFit a couple times a week, because I cannot just look like a stick up and down. That look maybe for you, but for me, I want a little bit more definition, a little bit more shape. And I find that Orange Theory, although I have lost a significant amount of weight, I need a little bit more, I want an hourglass shape. And Orange Theory, for me, it didn't do that. So, do I recommend it? I do recommend Orange Theory. I lost 20 pounds in a very short period of time with Orange Theory. When I first started, I wasn't really losing too much weight because I didn't really change my diet. But once I changed my diet and I started to go to Orange Theory consistently, the weight slid off. So I do recommend it. I think the price is fair for the results you will receive. If you're into just like a straight up and down but toned everywhere look, Orange Theory is for you. If you're looking, and I think Orange Theory is a great place to start. You can start to like work on your butt and other areas later on. But if your main goal, which mine was at the time, was to lose weight, I don't know why I keep looking over there. Ignore that. If your main goal is to lose weight, start with Orange Theory. You won't regret it. Even if you do it for like 5 to 6 months, the weight will slide off. And it feels like a little family. That's another great thing about Orange Theory. People actually speak. The front desk staff are friendly. The trainers are friendly. Well, they call them coaches. I've been calling them trainers this entire video, but they're actually called coaches. So let me know if you guys have taken an Orange Theory class, if you're currently doing Orange Theory. If you've taken a class, is there something you didn't like? Let's discuss. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit everything that you need to do to stay tuned to my channel, pretty much. Thanks again for watching, you guys.